This is from A to Vegan. I'm Lydia, and I'm here today with Kate Jacoby and Rich Landau, former owners of Horizons Café, the renowned Horizons restaurant, and the upcoming and much anticipated Vedge. It's great having you here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
And we were so sad to see Horizons doors close back in July. It was July 2nd, right? Mm-hmm. But we're very excited that Vedge is on the verge.
Yeah.
But before we get into talking about Vedge, I wanted you to tell us a little bit about how it all started, all the way back with Horizons Café.
Well, that was in 1994. And what it was a little lunch counter. Kate was actually a customer there.
I was.
A little lunch counter, and I had a little cooktop, and there was a counter around it and 3 tables, and I just wanted to cook. It's all I wanted to do. I felt like I really had a message to get out there that, you know, vegan food or vegetarian food was not just this, you know, kind of crazy, hippie, crunchy Woodstock diet, that it was actually a legitimate way of eating. And that's the way I cooked. I had a carnivore's palate, and I became vegetarian, so I was constantly cooking to kind of entertain my palate so I didn't crave meat again. So that's why our food is very kind of, you know, there's lots of layers of flavor, it's, you know, lots of depth going on there just to keep my palate entertained. I said, well, if I like this, I mean, there's got to be at least a few people out there that will pay for this.
Right, absolutely.
And a bunch did. And from that, it just evolved. We just kept getting busier and busier. And within that strip mall where we existed, we expanded 3 times just because we needed to keep growing and growing.
We actually saw that happening, and Mauro actually used to work in Willow Grove, and one day he ended up at Horizons Café for lunch, and he came back home. I worked in Northeast Philly, so there was no way I could go for lunch, and he came back home raving about this sandwich that he had. He was like, it was so good, and it was hearty, and it was awesome. I remember that till today, that he just loved the sandwich.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then we were sad to see that Horizons Café closed and Horizons came around.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a saying in our business, well, probably in life in general, if you stand still too long, you start moving backwards. And I think it's so important to continue to create, you know, it's the very creative spirit that keeps us, you know, doing dishes all day long and keeps us exploring our culinary field that doesn't let you sit still. It keeps you up at night. What's next? What's going to happen next? I mean, there will probably be something after this someday. It might be a beach bar.
Hey,
somewhere a vegan beach bar down in Key West.
That's pretty awesome. So, yeah.
But this is our at the moment inspiration. This is where our mind and our heart and our stomachs are. This is what's happening in the dining scene. This is what's happening in our lives right now, and this is our at-the-moment inspiration.
Yeah, and it's good stuff. It's good stuff. We love it. So what made you decide to close Horizons and then move on to Vedge?
Well, you know, Rich was just saying, we have all this energy. We're always like thinking of new dishes to create, and we pay close attention, not just to what's going on in the vegan dining world, but just in restaurants in general. And there's so much movement. Everything, it's like, everything happens so quickly these days, and you know, we really had so many ideas that we wanted to put into place. So we had been looking to do maybe a second restaurant or something like that, and just kind of was a good opportunity that came at the right time. So we decided, you know what, this location on Locust Street is a fantastic building. It's a wonderful location. We couldn't resist, you know. Nice. So basically, I don't know, we found a buyer for that building, and it all came to, and it's kind of hard to not be working right now. July 2nd was the last night for Horizons, and we still don't know when our opening night's going to be for Vedge, but this is a really awesome time for us to really just regroup, get out there, eat like regular people who aren't eating in our own restaurant every single night.
Right.
So now we know what it's like for other people who want to go out and eat a great vegan meal. But
it is good. It is good. We like it.
and you know, I guess it's just another step in what we're trying to do as chefs. It's been such a long evolution since '94. Like every couple years, there's a new set of goals. And at Horizons on 7th Street, you know, I feel like the culinary landscape changed so much. Veganism was now no longer a scary word. Like,
true. It's not a bad word anymore.
So I'm just really anxious to see what's going to happen, like in the next 5 years. you know, how Vedge will help to shape what's going on in Philly and the USA. So.
Right, yeah, we're excited to see that too. So why did you decide to change the name from Horizons to Vedge?
That's a great question. There's a couple different thoughts that went into that. At first, it was kind of hard to leave the name Horizons behind. For one, from a very basic, kind of common sense, obvious standpoint, I always felt that restaurants, you should know what they're serving inside by their sign. If you go to La Fiesta, you know there's Mexican,
exactly,
you know there's burritos
exactly,
happening that day,
sure.
Or if you see, you know, Ming Garden, you know, it's Chinese. You know, anytime people ask us what we do, if we meet people and we say, well, we own a restaurant called Horizons. What kind of restaurant is it? Well, it's very descriptive. You know, this is where Vedge is definitely going to kind of narrow down the possibilities of what it could be.
True.
It's important to reinvent. It was a very tough decision. Horizons has been around. It's one of those Philadelphia institutions, which is a blessing and a curse these days. Now, in some senses, in old school Philadelphia, you had what, LeBec Finn and Bookbinders and Susanna Fu. They're looked at as dinosaurs right now. People don't flock to institutions anymore. People want what's new and what's hot. And we're feeling like our food's changed so much. I don't think you'd recognize the meal you had at Horizons in 2010 versus the meal you would have had at Horizons in 2001. I mean, the cooking's been evolving. And we thought it was just time to slightly change concepts and change names to something a little bit more hip and edgy and, you know, something a little bit more fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it absolutely makes sense.
Now we're new.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like this hot new restaurant, right? It's not just Horizons that moved to a new spot. You're right. That's a good idea.
Because that's all we've done. Horizons had 4 different, you know, locations. Yeah. It was tough to do that, but it's the right way to go.
It's a good fresh start. That's nice. Yeah. So what are the differences and similarities from the menu that we had at Horizons, you know, if you came out to dinner for Horizons, and what we should expect to see at Vedge?
We had a lot of ideas and sort of drafts of menus already working, and then we thought if it's going to be a second or new location, it will also depend a lot on the building itself. And, you know, we either want to go really upscale or like really casual. And the building that we're in is actually really interesting. It could be super, super fine dining gorgeous, but that's not really so much what's hot these days. So we're using the space and basically making a very versatile dining experience. We want to appeal to people who do want to come out on a Saturday night with a reservation, get a couple bottles of wine, sit down and really dine. Mm-hmm. But we have some great little nooks and bar areas, especially our vegetable bar area, which will allow people to come in and do what's so hot these days, which is a little small plates, a little this, a little that. You don't have to go and, you know, go all out that night. Maybe you come back the following week and you try the other thing that was on the menu that caught your eye. So the menu will reflect those different types of experiences. There will be a whole range, some small plates, some bar snack type of dishes, and then we'll have some larger plates too. The style of cooking is totally the same. Like Rich was saying, we've evolved so much over the years. So if you were just tasting bite by bite without looking at the plates and the menu, you know, you would recognize it instantly.
Right.
We definitely said we wanted to focus more on vegetables. And that's really just a shift we've been noticing with a lot of vegetarians and vegans looking and saying, well, I don't want all mock meat. I really want to eat good proteins, but really good vegetables, especially what you can get in the summertime in this region.
Seasonally, right.
So much
that you
can get.
Absolutely.
So that's sort of the next step that we've figured out for ourselves, to prove to people that, you know, vegetables, there's so much you can do with them.
There absolutely is.
And you don't have to force yourself to make an entire dish. It can be small plates, and vegetables work so well with that.
They do. They're very versatile.
Yeah,
you pick out 2 or 3 different things that you want to try out as opposed to just one big dish. That's a good idea. It really is. It makes it a different dining experience each time you come here.
Yeah, and also, you know, even though there will be seitan and tofu on the menu, we didn't want to be just known for that, because, you know, most vegetarians and vegans know, you know, what that is, and they want that when they go to a restaurant. We want that when we go out because it's very hard to find. But for the general public, there's a lot of, I think there's a whole, as much as we try to expand our, you know, our client base, our customer base rather, there's still this whole kind of outer shell of people we haven't gotten through to. And I think these are the people that look at seitan and tofu as mock meats. They're like, whoa, vegan hippie food. Get out of here.
They're afraid, hippies. Yeah, they're afraid of tofu.
They're spraying us, you know. So I think having it come forth as a vegetable restaurant is going to really change our image a little bit. Yeah, like Kate said, the food's going to, it's all I know how to do. I mean, the food's going to taste the same, but the focus is going to be more on vegetables. I think there's a lot of people out there that would come to a vegetable restaurant, yet they might not come to a vegan restaurant.
True.
So,
yeah.
and it's all the name too. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
But, that's the way it is. We're out to get them.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned the seitan, because there was a bit of a stir when we heard that Horizons was closing and you guys weren't going to be serving your seitan, and it was like, how can that be?
It will be there.
My gosh.
In one form or another, it will be there. It might
awesome.
be. We don't know what we're going to do with that yet. It might be a call ahead thing. It might be a special, if you know about it, kind of get it thing. But it will be available. Because, you know,
you have to be in the know to get the barbecue seitan. All right.
There'll be like a code word or something. Or a coupon. How about a coupon?
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That works.
But, yeah, I think I recognize now, like, I really miss it. I thought after Horizons, it's not so much I didn't like seitan. I just love vegetables. And it bothered me that they weren't more in the forefront of what we were doing. So now we're going to push them to the forefront, and I'll feel a little bit more comfortable having seitan as part of our repertoire, rather than having it being the only thing we're known for.
And that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's something definitely that you don't see in many other restaurants, that the vegetables are the centerpiece on your plate. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. All right, so you've mentioned that you don't know when you're going to be opening just yet. You know, you're still under construction here and everything's looking good. It's gearing up. But do you have like a general idea, just so the public can know when to look out for it?
Third week of September, we're hoping for.
Yeah, I guess I'm pushing it back in my mind in like 1 to 2 week intervals. So if I was looking at like Labor Day, now I guess I'm thinking mid-September. But I've also been learning to just surrender.
We're doing a lot of this.
A
lot of this.
Yeah. We've been posting updates on Facebook, and I feel like as it's getting a little bit closer, then the updates will be more excited, more enthusiastic.
Frequent.
Now I don't want to say too much because I don't have enough information. But
is there anywhere other than Facebook and Twitter that people can go to get information about the grand opening, or
just peek in the window there? That's
peek in the window.
No, well, it's all well. Also the press. You know, they've been really kind to us. The Inquirer bloggers and Philly Mag bloggers. So we send them updates whenever we have anything noteworthy.
And you have your website as well? Are you going to be posting that up on your website?
Yeah.
What's the web address?
Vedge Restaurant.
VedgeRestaurant.com.
Of course, Vedge is VEDGE.
VEDGE.com. No, that's great. That's awesome. Okay, well, this is wonderful, and we're looking forward to the grand opening. We can't wait. And I just wanted to thank you for taking time from your busy schedule, construction, your day off, to come
here.
Day
off, what's that?
Day off. Couple of hours off, maybe, to come and talk to us and let us interview you.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure.
All right. Thank you.